Welcome to EPG Pathshala. My name is N. Rekha and I am from the Department of Food Service Management and Dietetics. Today we will see on the module Front Office Log. To go into the module, in hospitality industry, the front office department is believed as the core of a hotel, where the guest cycles occurs encompassing from pre-arrival, arrival, occupancy until departure. Moreover, the front office department, specifically the reception desk, is considered a vital unit in generating guest first impression towards the hotel itself. A well organized front office department is important due to the fact that this particular department is known as the largest source of hotel rooms revenue. There are a number of statistics necessary at and from the front office. Most of these are done in close cooperation between the reception and billing session. It should be the aim to determine the work of these statistics required without diminishing the completeness and clarity of them. This can be achieved by summarizing the data as much as possible in one form. So now we will see on the one by one the reports which are been maintained. So the first one will be the turnover. There is a recapitulation book to report the turnover to the management. On the double page are vertical columns for each department as well as columns for the occupancy rate. Every day the night auditor, after having made out the daily statement, will enter the figures in the appropriate column of this book. After every 10 days at the end of the month, the columns are added, showing the cumulated turnover of every department per month. Then the brought forward from the last month is written in the next horizontal line and added to the turnover of the current month, showing the turnover accumulated from the beginning of the year up to now. In the next month, two lines, the corresponding figures, that is turnover of the month and the accumulated one of the past year, are written to give the possibility of an immediate comparison with the past year. The next is the occupancy report. So as the name suggests, the occupancy report shows the status of each room, whether it was occupied by and whom. In a separate column of this report, the number of adults and children are marked as well as the nationality to which they belong to are marked. The room rate is stated and added floor wise so that the auditor can check the room rate charges. Concerning the nationality, is sufficient to mark whether the customer is Indian or a foreigner. Only the government law requires this. For purpose of public relations and sales analysis, however, it would be better to mark the specific nationality. Departure list. In the departure list, all guests are expected to leave this day are listed. Instead of typing separate list, this can be included in the occupancy report by using a special column and a sign for a departure. Next are plans. It is very important for the restaurants to know which customers have special arrangement such as American plan, European plan and modified American plan, etc., which they are going to follow. This again can be included in the occupancy report itself by giving special sign in the appropriate column. Plan of this report will be given. Next is VIPs. Say for example, VIP customers are specified on the occupancy report. No special list is written. See, VIP means they can give any color or any different font to that. A remark VIP behind the name is enough. Next is sales report. The sales report is very important. It is a summary of the occupancy report. It shows the different subtotals of the floors, individual floors, total to receive the total figures of the hotel's occupancy and room sales. So next will be the room sales report. The first part of the sales report is a summary of the floor occupancy as well as the adjustment, has, half and full rates for the particularly for late departures, day rooms and no shows. The total sum of the room rates divided by the number of rooms occupied gives the average room rate. The figure of this rate shows whether higher prices or lower priced rooms are preferred. Next is occupancy. The second part of the sales report shows how many clients, adults and children, Indian and foreigners are in the hotel, as well as the number of arrivals and departures, the fluctuations of guests if any. According to the international standards, the room occupancy is considered to be more important than the bed occupancy. For this statistics, only the available rooms are taken into consideration. For example, suppose a hotel has a total of 210 rooms, but 10 rooms are under renovation and 5 are blocked for internal use, so that only 195 rooms are available. So this 195 rooms are then 100%, so that 156 occupied rooms, area equal to 80% of occupancy and not to the 74% occupancy has would be when compared to 210 rooms. So next is the presumed occupancy. So now we'll see what is presumed occupancy. Is the third part of the sales report, where only shows the number of expected residents according to the proofs available, that is by reservation forecast. Next is accumulated occupancy. The statements of the sales report entered in the accumulated occupancy book. This book then shows the occupancy of 1 month per day unaccumulated. The necessary entries are required are number of arrivals, that are number of adults and children who are coming, number of rooms blocked, number of rooms available, number and percentage of rooms occupied, average room rent. All the above mentioned items accumulated for month. At the end of the month, brought forward from preceding month is added. The comparative figures of the past year can be written underneath. Now how it is to be presented to the management. Now we will see it depends on the hotel's policy and the manager's wish to whether these statistics are shown to him regularly, every day, every 10 days or only month. It is the duty of the night auditor and the night receptionist to keep the turnover recapitulation and the accumulated occupancy report. Both books should remain at the front office. So now we'll see on the what are the different reports in compiling the reservation part. So compiling reservation reports, first is expected arrivals and departure. So for this you have to need room availability report, group status report, special arrival list, turn-away report, revenue forecast report, room availability determining from charts. So room availability is ensured from an availability chart, which can be in the form of forecast boards or in the form of reservation chart or in the computerized system. So now we'll see what is a forecast board. Forecast board is somewhat similar in appearance to a calendar. This is mounted on the wall near to the reservation clerk or a staff, so that they have better and quick access to the room status information when they need to check for room availability. Usually, these boards keep information for a period of 2 months, and the dates in the board represent specific room status, whether it is available or not. Next is reservation chart. Most of the hotels use reservation chart to display and record room availability. There are two types of reservation charts. They are the conventional or the traditional chart. These charts give details on availability of each room in the hotel by room number. This chart is used by marking reservations in pencil to allow for any alterations or cancellations. When booking is done, each one is allocated a room number with the guest name shown on the chart. This chart is shown on a monthly basis and is displayed according to the flexibility on the wall or on the desk within easy reach of reservation clerk. The merit of using this system is that it gives not only up-to-date room status information but also the details concerning the individual bookings. The important thing to note in this is that this type of chart is normally suitable only for small hotels. This chart is used where the guests usually stay for a longer period of time. Hotel which provide wide variety of room types like of different sizes, different decors, features and locations. Suited for hotel which offer highly personalized service to their guests in cases where guests ask for specific rooms. This conventional chart is not suitable for larger hotels as it consumes more time to record all individual details. So it is common for the error to be made when a large number of rooms are there. So it best suits to the smaller hotels. Next type of chart is the density chart. This chart shows and records the total number of reservations held for each type of room on a specific date. This type of chart is suitable for larger hotels where large number of rooms are there with similar decor, location, features and rates. Here the guest stay is for a shorter period. This chart needs quicker handling of larger number of bookings, so best suited for larger hotels. Now we will see the guest arrival. In guest arrival, what are all aspects or reports are maintained? In guest arrival, first is room status report. This report is used to know whether a particular room is occupied, vacant, dirty or ready for occupying or out of order. Next is, now we will see the room status, as I told you, can be classified as follows. The first one will be vacant or clean. From the name itself, this depicts that the room has been serviced and ready to be assigned to a guest. That is vacant or clean room. The next is vacant or dirty. This implies whether a room has been vacated or await cleaning. Such rooms are sometimes called on charge or checked out rooms. Next is occupied or stay on rooms. These are rooms which are still occupied by guests who will stay for one or more nights than scheduled. Next is out of order rooms. Generally these rooms are not in use, usually because there is something which is faulty in the room, or the room is being redecorated or under any maintenance or any repairs. Next is blocked rooms. In this type of rooms, they will be reserved for specific reasons, say for some special groups or for any VIPs or special persons. Next is guest history records. This is a record of guest room and rate charged, their likes and dislikes if known, as well as the amount they spent to the hotel. The records may be kept on the computer or on handwritten record cards. As a system will automatically open a new guest history card for a guest who stay in the hotel for the first time, and it will update the existing guest history records on checkout. An annual review of all guest history record is needed. Some records have to be discarded which will not be needed or maintained for a very longer time. Next we will see, move on to, as I told you already, now we will see on the front office system. Here in one department wise, I will tell you what are all the reports which are maintained for their own use. To start with, we will start with reservations. This system handles all reservations and related activities within a hotel. This subsystem allows for individual FIT is foreign independent traveler, groups, tours, conferences and miscellaneous group bookings to be made for any date in the future. So now we will see what are all the departments which are to be available or which are to be maintained in a reservation part. Now the room booking position report. So room booking position report deals with which type of room and where it is located. Next is the arrival list. Arrival list normally encompass all the arrivals, whether it is no-show. It will include everything starting from who have just to be arrived, or arrival list who have arrived and not arrived. Everything will be included in this arrival list. Next will be the arrival list by guest class. So guest class here says the special cases or the mode where they will come in, from which they will come. Everything will be included in arrival list by guest class. Next is special list for arrivals. Special list is a list where you have some important persons of the city or anything, someone from the country, say for example any political parties or political leaders coming to the hotels, or any cine actors coming to the hotels. So you will have a separate special list for all these arrivals, so that you can make prior arrangements whichever you need for receiving the special persons. Next is confirmation letters printing report. So confirmation is those who have given the confirmation for their arrival. So you will take out the if you have a copy of who are confirmation reports, so that you will have things to be pre-arranged beforehand itself before their arrival. Next is daily reservation report. Daily reservation report is whatever you get daily, reservation through phone or direct reservations, or through group reservation, or through chain reservations. Anything can be done through a daily reservation report. So this records all your daily reservation transactions, whatever you take. So it compasses and gives you on a daily basis the status. Next is reservation close dates report. So this is what are the dates which are closed for reservation, where say if the occupancy is full, so where you have closed the reservation, everything can be recorded and can be given as reservation close dates report. Next is next fortnight movement report. So this next fortnight, I think you know the meaning of fortnight, just compasses the next 2 weeks. So next 2 weeks movement report, it encompasses what all has to be taken into account for the next 2 weeks, how it should be organized, and what all you need to take pre-arranged for all these movements, all these work. Everything can be recorded in the next fortnight movement report related to the reservation. Next is business forecast report. Business forecast report is nothing but which forecast or prior itself you think of the future, say how the business is going to be, what is your reservation, total number of reservations, how you encompass whether you have how many occupancy you are going to have. So everything is forecasted beforehand. So that is the business forecast report. You can you can fully put in together what all you are going to plan for your future. Next part is the registration part. After completion of reservation, the registration system is linked by information transfer to the reservation system. This provides for smooth and accurate check-in. The system prints registration cards and the concise reports. Here the reports maintained are in registration, guest list by name. So here you can have the guest list of names, where the number of names who have registered for the occupancy. Next is guest list by room number. Here here you will include the guest name as well as the room numbers to which they are going to occupy. That details are given here. Next is guest list by group name and code. In case if it is a group booking or any special persons or anything like that, here again one more column or one more thing is added where the code and the group name is given from which has been got from agency or from the personal person itself. Next is the room status list. So room status list, as I told you already, room status I have already explained you whether the condition of the room. So according to the registration, room status list will be taken. Okay, whether it is occupied, vacant, dirty, or vacant, clean, or under maintenance, or anything like that can be given in the room status list. Next is expected departure report. So expected departure report gives who are all going to get departed from the hotel in a particular period of date or time, so that future reservations can be made based on the departure and the date of departure. So you will have the departure report. Next is no shows or walk-ins report. So I think you all will know about no show. No shows are persons, they would have reserved for a room, but then they don't turn up on the date of arrival. So they are termed as no shows. And walk-in reports are the persons who directly come to the hotel and book on the sudden. As and when they come into the hotel, they book for a room. So they are called as walk-ins. So no shows and walk-ins report, if you have, that will also be helpful to for the registration part. Next is room change report. So say if somebody has asked for some particular room, say they have asked for a shoot room, in case if that particular shoot room is not available, or if they are not satisfied with the features or the facilities whatever is there in that room, they might ask for a change of the room. So that details are also recorded in a room change report. So whatever may be the reason, if possible, for sure the reception desk will make a change of the room. Next is credit limit check report. So credit limit check report, as you all know, you know about the credit cards and whatever. So credit cards are a limit which is given by any bank or by any other institution to a particular debitor for a particular period of credit line. So that is credit limit. So we have to keep a check on the credit limit, so as to it should not exceed the credit limit, then it will be a loss for the hotel's revenue. So we have to keep an eye on the credit limit check report. Next is today's check-in report. So today's check-in report, has the name suggests that today check-in is how many persons are checking in today, this particular date, how many of them have checked in. So that is check-ins report. And check-out, similarly to check-in report, how many of them are checked out of the room in that particular day. Next is house position report. House position report is on consolidated basis how the particular hotel's position is, whether it is fully booked. In cases of season time and all, you have to book it prior. If you go as a walk-in or anything, you cannot book or you will not get a room because it will be houseful. So house position report is a report which gives you details on whether it is half booked or whatever, whether it is full booked or it is free. So all these details are given in the house position report. Next is today's room change report. So that particular room change report records everything on the for a period of time, it records the room change report, everything details. But today's room change report records only whoever asked for today, they have asked any change today or not, that report is given here. Next is discount guest list by room number. So if you have the particular guest or for a particular group, if they have given any discount on a basis, that details are recorded according with their name and with their room number. Everything is given in this discount guest list by room number report. Next is front office cashier. In case of front office cashier, we'll see what all has to be maintained. The guest account system provided for accurate online posting of guest charges and settlement of guest accounts through a wide range of settlement methods. So the reports maintained here are the reports. First one is shift summary. Shift summary is the summary of according to what shift each one is coming and going. Next is shift transaction. Shift transaction records all the transactions between that particular period of time. Next is shift details, list of account mode. So in what mode they are going to settle their accounts. So all these details, whether it is cash or whether it is credit or any foreign currency exchanges going to take place, all these details are recorded here. Next, other cash handling reports. Here again similarly the other cashes in cases of foreign currency or any other things is recorded here. Credit limit report, as I already told you in the previous one, the credit limit, according to which limit they can go, maximum reach limit. So that is credit limit report. Next is settlement list. So what all expenses they have when they were occupied or when they stayed in the hotel, what all has been done and how it is settled. So all those lists are taken. Next is deposit balance, due refund report, anything balance which has to be given to the guest or anything due which you have to receive, or refund report which you have to refund which you have got in advance. So all these things can be recorded so that when the departure occurs or anything clarification, it can be easily checked and it can be easily settled. Next is night auditing. The night auditing system is the most important function in the daily operation of the hotel. It posts rooms tariff automatically, performs the balance of the entire day's transaction and closes day's business. So now we'll see what are the reports which has to be maintained. Now the room rate variance report. Here any change in the room rate, it should be again recorded, because during night auditing, if anything changes anything, it should be recorded and it should be known to the other staff and reported. So room rate variance report is recorded where any change in the room rate or tariff is recorded here. Next is guest outstanding report. Guest outstanding report is the amount which is outstanding for a guest which has to be paid while they depart. So these are the guest outstanding report, which are unpaid bills or anything like that can be recorded, so that when they go out we can have the report to say that these are the outstanding amounts or anything which has to be paid by the. Next is check-in report. Check-in report, of course they need it in the auditing, who are the checked in list of reports, so that for their reference they can use this check-in report. Next is checked out report. Checked out is again like who are checked out of the hotel, the report of those persons or groups or any VIPs or anybody who have checked out. So that this records all the checkout names or groups. Next is hotel transaction list. So hotel transaction list again records all the transactions within the hotel. Next is credit limit checklist. Again this is the same thing which is maintained, credit limit checklist to till which credit we can spend. Next is deposit control room. Deposit control, if at all the say for example the guest deposits any expensive or valuable things, then that control, how safe it is kept and how you are returning back. So all these things are maintained by a deposit control report. Next is luxury tax report. So if the say the persons or the guest is used in a shoot room of the or they use some luxurious equipment or anything, any services of that sort, they are what to say, they have to pay the tax for that. So that is also recorded in a separate thing. Next is hotel's trial balance. So you, as you know, I think everybody know what is a trial balance. Trial balance is nothing but the summary of the total credits and debits transactions, and by any chance it should tally at the end. It should tally. If at all it doesn't tally, then it might be like must be some error in that, so we have to recheck. So this hotel trial balance is seen here. Next is the financial system or the financial system. First one is this general ledger. The general ledger system forms the heart of the financial system, being integrated with the modules of financial accounting such as accounts receivable and payable, as well as front office for the transfer of daily trial balance. Reports maintained here are, first one, the trial balance. Trial balance shows the total of credit and debit transactions, so the total should be tallying. If it doesn't tally, that means there is some error in that. So we have to recheck it. Next is general ledger, where you record all the transactions in the ledger note. Next is the balance sheet. Balance sheet tells you about the what are all has to be balance which has to be incorporated or something. Next is expenditure analysis. So you know expenditure, how much you have spent, so on what basis, and whether it is of whether you need more money for any future expenditure or the sufficient or was sulfurous. So all these details are recorded in the expenditure analysis. Next is schedules of ledger. So how you are going to schedule the different ledgers, so everything is given in this particular ledger book. Next is accounts receivable. The city ledger or the accounts receivable function. City ledger or accounts receivable is the two names which are used. Function is one of the most critical and important applications in the hotel environment. Most of the accounts receivable modules are specially designed to enable the hotel management to have complete control and efficient functioning of this critical department. The reports maintained here are front office transfer edit list. So front office transfer edit list, where you anything transferred from to the other departments are maintained here. Next is customer invoices, receipt and adjustment notes. Invoices is nothing but the major bills where you have given a list of items or any services given to the customers are recorded and you give the bill for that. Receipt and adjustment notes, if any adjustment is needed in that particular service or items given, then adjustment note, in adjustment note it has been noted. Next is customer ledger, where here you maintain all the customer transactions or anything concerned with the customer is given in this ledger book. Next is customer statement of accounts. So here again the different accounts or different accounts used in different departments with relation to customer is recorded in this book. Next is customer balances and analysis. Anything which is left balance related or regarding to the customer is recorded here. Next is reminder statements. So any reminders regarding to the customer or which should be recorded or given in the reminder statements. So check or cash receipt book. So here whether it is in if it is in cash, all that will be recorded in the cash side. Check means check receipts will be recorded in one side. So both will give you the clear-cut information. Next is accounts payable. The accounts payable system keeps track of all supplier invoices, adjustment and payments. So here the reports maintained are suppliers master list, where you have everything all on the whole sum up everything in the master list. Next is supplier statement of account. Here each an individual statement of account is given in this book. Next is suppliers ledger. Here as such the transactions are recorded. Then the suppliers bills due to pay or cash requirements. So what has to be the reminding bills or which has to be paid and what are the cash required for you to pay that bill, everything is recorded in this suppliers book. Next is analysis of balance by supplier type. So here the balance whatever is remaining can be analyzed on which what is the type of supplier we have to give. Everything is analyzed in particular in this book. To summarize, now I will say now you would have got some concept of what are all the different reports and what are all reports which are very much necessary with regard to each particular department in a front office. So to summarize, I would say the front office is the nerve center of a hotel. Members of the front office staff welcome the guest, carry their luggage and help them register, give them their room keys and mail, answer questions about the activities and in the hotel and surrounding area, and finally check them out. So in fact, the only direct contact most guests have with the hotel employees other than in the restaurant is with the members of the front office staff. So the front office department comprises of all reception, guest services, offices, bell services, reservation operators, clubs, health and recreation system, business center, etc. So the purpose of the front office department is to provide guest assistance with luggage, transportation, information concerning the hotel and the city, and any other service arrangements needed during the stay. So employees of the front office department often provide the first and last impression of the hotel to our guest. So it is very important for the front office staff to maintain the different reports, so as to have a clear cut idea and a clear cut view to say to the customers about the availability of rooms or anything, transactions to any other departments. It is very much important for the front office staff and the other members to maintain the different reports very accurately and on time, and so that, and in a clear cut, and it should be maintained in a very clear manner, so that it can be easily used for any forecasting in the future or any details, because all the details, anything related to customer in future or any emergency situations or any problems, say in cases of any persons who have blacklisted or anything like that, can be got only through front office records. So mostly the rooms revenue, the hotel's revenue fully is dependent upon the front office. So it is very much necessary for the front office staff to have a particular and a very detailed report of each and every activities which takes place in a particular front office department. So the front office log is very important. The maintaining report is very important in any hospitality industry for any future use or for their regular duty checks and anything like that. So it is front office log. All these reports, everything should be maintained in a particular front office concerned to any hospitality industry. Thank you.